Hello and welcome to Rainy Day Crafting. Okay, it's nearly Valentine's. Okay, it's day before Valentine's, we're nearly there. And I have done a run of Valentine's-y type cards. Well, this card you could use as Valentine's, or this is just a bit of cuteness. These cards that I absolutely love do come from Hobbycraft. And they're textured and they're really, really lovely. And I just love when I stamp on them as well, because obviously it sort of picks up the texture a bit, but I really do like them. Anyway, it's quite an easy card. It often is an easy card with me. This one here, look at this. Is that, or is that not cute? I don't think it's particularly anything branded actually, but it's a lovely, gorgeous little hedgehog. But we're going to use some oxide colours with it. If you haven't got anything like this, don't worry. Get some crayons out, some paints out, some whatever you've got, and do something similar. And obviously you might have this in your stash and think, oh yeah, I haven't actually used that. Get it out, have a little go. If not, have you got something else you could use similar? And then just, you know, as much as anything, what I'm trying to sort of teach you is I found through lots of mistakes in my early days, sometimes it's all about perfecting your techniques to get a really sort of nice homemade card. Yes, but you want it to be pretty professional looking too, don't you? Yes, it's got ear on the side of being homemade, hasn't it? Because it is, you know, so it isn't like Clinton cards or whoever, but it's a case of something that somebody else would be very happy to receive. Anyway, these are typical polymorph stamps. I'm going to use my stamping block for this particular time. Because if you don't get it quite in the right place, you always get a second chance. I tend to use one of the little magnetic weights, but I put a bit of this packaging in the back, pop that in there, tuck my whatever card or whatever I'm doing on into the corner of that, maybe pop that there. So then with your stamp, actually I could do both bits at the same time. You sort of work out where you're going to have your stamp, because obviously, and put it straight down, the right side down, and then I think I'm going to put just for you just to the side. And remember, I pulled out, if you've been watching some of my videos, I made a load of hearts. I love hearts anyway. See these, this is the first time this is coming off there. I don't know if any of you know of a great technique to get these new off, because sometimes they're just hard, aren't they? I'm just going to put that to the side, which is about right, because it's got some lines on the card. You can sort of square it up if you're using this. Now literally then, look at that mark on there. I don't think that'll make any difference, but I'm going to take it off anyway. Yeah, I always keep some baby wipes at hand. I've got a grandson that I have to use them on anyway, so I've always got some. So just position it where you want it to be, and it should pick that up nicely. Okay, VersaFine I really love, others on the market. So then what we then do is just give this a nice coat. And this little hedgehog here has got this stuff in particular is really good for fine detail. And this hedgehog's little prickles are very high on detail, aren't they? So then over we go. If for any reason, I'm getting to that age where you a few more aches and pains, I suppose. If you find sort of that procedure is hard going, I bought one of these. I think these are like, you know, when if you buy play like ice hockey, but that you can get a nice lot of even pressure too. Okay, so, and I think somewhere like eBay, probably about £3. I forget what they're actually called, but they're like you have on like the ice hockey game. So you might even got one. Right, so look, that's not done too bad. I might just redo it again just to double check. Then I will pop it using, I don't know, I didn't the word, did I? My clear embossing, because I just personally think it gives such a lovely finish. Okay, so I can move this out of the way. Don't need that at the moment. Just put it over there. I tend to always put on the other side, and then I've done there we go. This is, if you just tuned into me, this is just clear embossing powder. as you can then see. If you do it when it's, if you're now, I often say this too, if you were now going to do a load of cards, just get it to this stage, then use your hot gun and do them. Okay, so you can see now if I hold it up right close, you can see it's gone very dull now, where it's picked up all the powder. Bash it on the side. This is just one of those tubs which I then put in one of these clicker boxes. Last ages, they really, really do. Right, a little bit of noise. And I just hold this on something like this. I always maintain, I'll just move that away while it warms up. This still is the magic of it. But can you see the precision of that is quite lovely. So let's have a little look. And then you'll just watch it change. Obviously you have to have your hot air gun hot gun just right. Look at that word just forming before you and giving you such a beautiful sheen. Here we go. There's these bristles, little butterflies. I always want to call this my magic gun. Now, because they're still obviously quite wet, if you want to, I sometimes think another coat, you don't have to, but it can give it still that gorgeous sort of built up effect. It's probably cooled down a one, so it probably hasn't picked much up the same, but if you can see where it's picked up a bit more, not an awful lot, but they still need to be warm. And here we go. Now, so that's done, quite lovely, quite easily. And now I'm going to use these, again, you can buy them quite cheaply if you haven't got one, just a regular brush. If you've got any of the Distress Oxides, forget what they actually sort of say they are, but they work with water quite nicely. Now, the colours that I've just picked out now, this tea dye, I almost think it's almost like a body sort of colour. Now what I use is one of these blocks I've got, and I just literally, can you see, pop that onto my colour, put the lid back on because you don't want it to dry out, and then with a brush, okay, now this is probably the boring, but this is when I really wish I could, I say boring, it's only, you know, if you're sitting watching, that sound a bit like paint dry. But basically, this is where I need to know how to fast forward and do things quickly. Although I try and make my videos 10, 15, no more than 20 minutes is my overall plan as a whole, okay? There we go. Obviously, if you want to, you can do all these different colours. I've just done his little body. Where's his little hands? I saw them somewhere. Oh, here they are. There's his little hands. There's his other little hand. And then we've got his little feet. Isn't he gorgeous? I don't know why I'm calling him a he, but anyway, let's say he's a he. Okay, simple as that. But, I say if you haven't got any of these, crayon, you can use crayons, felt tips, paint, you know, whatever you have got. Yeah, so there we go, quite nicely. If I was probably a better painter, I could probably then do some better shadowing. Anyway, this is the green one, which is Colourwise Mowed Lawn. My husband over the last sort of 2 or 3 Christmases has bought me, oh, I don't know, 1 or 2 sets. So I think I've got 1, 2, probably 4 sets of these. I can't remember now if they come in 10 or 12 pack. But I have said to him, I've got a huge selection now, don't need any more. Because he bought me the rack for them to go in. Now just a little bit, put a bit of colour on this, don't need much, just round. If you wanted to, pull up a few of the little leaves, the rest of flowers. Quite cute, would you agree? And then for these, just rinse them under your tap, clean and put them back where they go. So again, we've had quite an easy, quick card. Now I just thought, just to make it just a little bit my sort of love heart themes. Remember, I had a pile of these I need to put away or do something with. I was thinking, do you know, I could probably, yeah, actually that fits on there quite nicely. Because this is wet, I think it's the one I done earlier, but in actual fact, look, I hadn't actually put the Just For You on there, but that's one I did earlier. It was nice and dry now, because I think that's one of the biggest tricks, always when you do any of your cards, let it dry properly, because if not, you can end up sort of smudging, smearing, whatever. So anyway, we've got that Just For You there. So what about just a little bit of glue round here, or them sticky specks I really do like. Line it up. These I just have glue just in these little bottles. You could put a few layers of this if you want to raise it up, but this is just bringing it just that bit more. Whether it needs a little bit more colour, I don't know really. Maybe the flower in there just to sort of coordinate it in a bit. Do you know what, actually I'd probably now do that flower, because I'm one that don't like ever so many different colours. I think sometimes that can sort of make something look a bit tacky then, but you know, everyone to their own. Anyway, I have got a page, Rainy Day Crafting, on Facebook if you want to join that. Because if you make a card, I'd love to see how it turns out. It doesn't, you know, something on the similar theme. Like I say, this is a card, look, it's not got an awful lot on it, but there's a fair bit of work gone into it. But I would love to be the recipient of that. So, till the next time, thank you very much for joining me, and happy Valentine's for tomorrow.